bathroom break, and I sat down on the toilet, and then I heard a loud bang, and I looked down, and the toilet seat broke. Yeah, and like that's
Oh
not great.
no.
That's not a great thing for me in my fragile moments in 2026, because I was like, I'm not that heavy, man.
No, I think you're
Um,
substantially lighter than me, in fact.
if anything, I've lost weight this year because I'm not eating well, and I have been running again. But I guess I don't know, something with that toilet seat. It didn't like it, so I stopped all of my plans for the day. This is something that happens only when your toilet seat breaks, okay? But you don't realize it until it happens. But I had to suspend literally everything I had planned that day to go to the hardware store to buy a toilet seat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I just want to sit and look at my phone and eliminate my body waste, but no. Some horrible misfortune has to befall me while I'm trying to do my number two. And like it sucks because like you're in the middle of it and then it happens like, well, I still gotta finish. And so
Oh
you're just
yeah.
kind of sitting on a broken toilet seat.
Like as long as it's not stabbing you in the moment, I guess just try not to
I
move much and
I had to move forward. I'll say that much.
oh no.
I was literally on the edge of my seat trying to finish my business. So yeah, I think that's pretty indicative of how my year's been.
Oh boy.
It's just a broken toilet seat.
Well,
But
look
it
at it
is
this way. You got a
okay.
new toilet seat. Now everything is going to improve from here on. Like that one's not going to break. It's brand new, right?
It's everything starts at the bottom. You're right, Neil. This is the foundation on which my year will turn around. Is this toilet seat? Thank you. I feel so much better now.
Oh my gosh. Well, toilet seats aside, everybody, hello and welcome to the Audio Games Podcast. I'm Neil.
Well, I'm Matt. Video games hello.
Video games, hello. Yeah, that just threw me for a real loop. You said you had a cold open. I was not expecting toilet seats.
That was a hot cold open.
Oh boy.
Yeah, no, it's like I said, when something like that happens, your whole life kind of gets upended because you can't
Yeah.
not have a toilet seat. I mean, I guess you
No.
could. There's some places where you just kind of hover, right? It's a cultural thing. But I'm not about that.
Sure.
So that was like, oh, guess what's at the top of my list of priorities now? Getting a toilet seat. Um, but you know, in the times between crises like these, I like to sit down and enjoy a video game once in a while. In fact, generally speaking, I do some gaming on the toilet.
Oh yeah,
How's that?
what you been playing on your phone?
How's that for a segue?
It's
Pretty
very
good.
good. Very
Okay.
good.
Not on my phone. I have my little gaming device, as you recall.
Mm-hmm.
But I have been playing something new. It is Tomodachi Life, Living the Dream.
Ah, yes, the new one.
The new Tomodachi Life, which has taken the internet by storm via memes. And let me tell you, kind of an interesting title coming out of Nintendo, because generally speaking, Nintendo is just militant about their censorship, and this game has like no censorship. You can have them say whatever you want, and they will say it. And I think a large part of that is because there's no online component. And I think that they knew that they kind of couldn't have an online component for something like this just because of the sheer amount of customization that they've allowed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, we can either put this online and like hire a bunch of people to vet things constantly because people are god awful and they will make all sorts of terrible things, or we can just not make it online. And they made it not online, so you can do whatever you want.
Was the
Um,
first one have any like social stuff? Because that first one was on DS, right?
yes, the first one, I believe most of the net integration was via QR codes that you could scan, and then it would like generate the character that other people made.
Oh, okay.
right? So like, if someone made Groose from Skyward Sword, you
Mm-hmm.
could be like, oh, here's the QR code, and then someone else could scan it, and then their Groose would be in your game. Um, but it's 2026. People got a lot of ideas about things, and I think that Nintendo wanted people to be able to embrace those ideas privately and not share those ideas. Um, we'll say it's certainly the right direction in terms of being more progressive. Your little me characters don't necessarily have to be male or female. They have non-binary included, and preference is also a choice. You can have your me's be attracted to any combination of the aforementioned options. So I can see how them being more liberal can also cause more problems with the way that people decide to portray that. So I think
Sure.
I think that it was ultimately the right decision. And people are sharing stuff anyway online. Um, like you can't import things, but people can certainly take screenshots and clips and
Mm-hmm.
share them. And there's been a lot of it. I don't know what kind of numbers this game is doing, but I've certainly seen a lot of content in regards to it. So, I got on that little train and made my little island of Bargingo, and you're there, and I'm there. We just have a great old time.
Have I been singing any silly songs at you or anything like that?
No, no, that was actually a function that they took out. Like, there's no.
What? The songs were great though.
They were certainly one of the more mimetic features of the original Tomodachi Life, but I don't know. I don't know why they took them out. There's a lot of other features that they added in. It's mostly to do with
Hmm.
customization. There's incredible levels of customization now. You can basically just draw onto the characters. People do a lot of like VTuber stuff or gotcha characters. I'm sure there's a lot of really great Zenless Zone Zero representations
Oh, I'm
in
sure.
Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. But ultimately, if you're not familiar, the game is you just kind of have an island and you create characters and you plop them down and they just kind of interact and you get to watch like some sort of horrible, horrible voyeur. Um, very much, very much like late stage reality TV kind of stuff. Where it's just like,
Hmm.
I just want to put people I know on an island and see what happens. And I think that The Sims kind of started that trend where it's like, oh, I can create like this fantasy version of real life. And Tomodachi Life is kind of like an evolution of that, where it's almost more like an arcade version of The Sims, right? There's not a lot of concern over maintaining things or generating wealth. It's just kind of like you put them there and they hang out and do things.
Hmm.
So, is it that much of a game? No, not really because of that. But I think that if you think about it in terms of like the Japanese name, which is Tomodachi Collection, I believe, it's really about the collecting of the objects. So there's all sorts of clothes, there's all sorts of foods, there's all sorts of treasures. So yeah, um, I mean, I pop in like 3 times a day, see what's going on. It's easy. Great when your toilet seat's broken.
Is it got any of the other stuff from the old game with like characters making their relationships and stuff kind of playing out themselves, or is there more control over that in this game too?
Um, I don't, as someone who's been checking in several times a day, I don't really know how things evolve naturally. I know that you can set preferences, like I mentioned, and
Hmm.
your characters will come and be like, "Hey, what do you think of me and this person?" And you can be supportive of that, in which they will, pursue that. Or you can be like, "I don't think that's a good idea," in which case they'll be like, "Oh, okay, well, I guess I won't pursue my dreams, thanks." Like literally, that's the tone they take with you. Like I had one who was like, "Hey, I wish we had more plants on the island. That would be really great. Here's my idea." And I'm like, "I don't like it." And they're like, "Well, thanks. I guess I just won't be pursuing things anymore." It's like, damn, have a corn dog. Shut up. And you feed them a
Have a
corn
box
dog,
of
and they're like,
tissues. Isn't that what they always give you when you fail a game or whatever?
Yeah. So the main gameplay is actually occasionally one of your Mii's will be like, "Hey, you want to play a little game with me?" And it's everything from just like guessing a coin flip to like trying to guess what items are, all pixelated, to bowling. And when you win, you get to pick a treasure, which you get to add to your collection, which you can also give treasures to Mii's, and there's a lot more that they do with them nowadays. Uh, or um, if you lose, you get a kind of like a consolation prize, right? And that can be anything from like a box of tissues to toilet paper. Well, I don't know what it is with paper products as like lose your items in Japan, but I guess it's just a thing. But hey, you need toilet paper and you need tissues. These are things that are just part of everyday life.
Yeah, these
So
seem like useful things. Thank you very much for giving them to me.
yeah, like if there's a me who's sad over something and you give them tissues, they're like, oh, I guess I kind of needed that. Cool. So yeah, I haven't had a me that's been in the bathroom needing toilet paper though. So I guess that's just for fun. But yeah,
Well,
simple little distraction game.
mm-hmm. Cool. I um I have not really been playing simple distraction games. I've been playing games that take lots of time away from me doing everything else I'm supposed to be doing.
Okay.
Neo 3, I'm pretty deep into that game. I'm not done yet, but I'm about to take a vacation, so it's going to be a little bit longer. I want to be done with that game. I'm enjoying it a lot. Uh, but not quite there. And I've been playing a lot of Deadlock. I know I mentioned it a little bit last time.
Yeah,
Having
yeah.
finally just gotten access now, I've like actually put some time into it. Um, I think they've done a lot of really interesting things to mix up the MOBA gameplay. Um, I do think that it is really fucking bad at matchmaking. Like,
Okay.
holy crap, it is so bad at matchmaking.
Okay.
I feel like every match is like
I feel like you jumped from
either.
one thing to another there. You said that
Uh
they're
huh.
doing a lot of interesting things for the MOBA format. Care to
Yes.
elaborate?
Yeah, so MOBAs tend to be these team based things. You're trying to push into your opponent's base, destroy all their little buildings or whatever, different
Right.
lanes, waves of creeps, and the map has a bunch of like jungle monsters that you can farm and stuff in the middle. Like all of that is present in this game.
Okay.
Um, but they've added in some other like smaller side mechanics like the soul jar, which spawns every once in a while on like one half of the map. And you kind of run over to it and stand on it and it'll pick it up. While you're holding it, you cannot use your abilities. You cannot shoot your gun. Um, and you have to try to run it across the map to the other side. And if you get it to the place to deposit it, then your team and you especially get a bunch of bonuses and extra money and stuff like that. Um, while you're holding the jar, you show up on the map for everybody so they can like see the person running with it on the mini map, and it really drives like team fights or like scraps in some way as a kind of secondary side objective on top of everything else that's going on in a pretty interesting way. And they just have a lot of like little things like that kind of sporadically through the game that really works for me in the MOBA space for driving that kind of stuff. Again, the matchmaking is just terrible though. I cannot stress this enough. I don't know that I've had a single match that felt very
Competitive.
okay, I've definitely had a single match that felt competitive. There have been swings in games, but very, very frequently it feels like there's either two people on my team that are so bad that there's nothing anyone on our team can do to prevent that from happening, or those two people are on the enemy team.
Hmm. Well, do
And
you
it
think that maybe
has
this is like a symptom of the player base? Like, there's not enough spread, so they're always throwing in a couple of people
I'm
that just are
I'm
new.
starting to lean that way. I know that the way that this game has had its weird, like, hey, invite only release thing, like the game is sort of out. It's not hard to invite more people to it, but you cannot just go on Steam and say, "Hey, I want to play this game."
What do you
Which
think is holding this game back from becoming a bigger thing? Because like it almost seemed like this was almost a secret project on by Valve to try and create some new competitive thing. And like when it first dropped, there was a lot of whispering about it, but it's mostly
yeah.
just kind of quieted down. Like I don't hear people talking about Deadlock.
Yeah, it's weird. I brought up that I was playing Deadlock in at my workplace the other day, and like one of the other people I work with was like, "Oh shit, I play that game all the time. I love that game." And it's like, "Oh, I didn't know that not just you, but like people are that passionate about this game." Because yeah, I don't see a lot about it in other places either, but when I do see stuff about it, it's mostly positive. It's people being very happy with the game. I think a big part of it is just the influx of new players is really low because of the way that you have to invite people, etc., etc., etc. Like,
Sure.
I have some experience now, but I know I'm still extremely low rank having played a little bit, and it feels like what is happening is in every game, there's probably at least two or three people that we are talking like substantial ranks above me. If I'm a bronze, these people are like platinum. And
Okay.
so it makes these really imbalanced things where one person might be able to just run away with the game or farm someone on my team, like a couple people on my team enough where it's just there's no coming back from it, you know?
Right. Right.
And that's what I mean when I say the matchmaking seems broken to me. Um,
Okay. Well, I mean, I imagine they probably implemented a similar matchmaking algorithm to Dota because they own Dota as well.
they do.
And people don't typically, well, everybody complains about matchmaking, honestly, but I think it's a little less warranted in that situation because there's tons of people who play Dota. There's a very large pool of people to like pull from.
Yeah.
Um, but
My understanding
yeah,
is there's a lot of people playing Deadlock every day, is my understanding. Um,
I don't know if I can believe that though because I never see people talking about it. I don't see
yeah,
people
and
playing it.
that's the part that gets weird. Like it feels like there's a lot of people playing Deadlock, and they've been playing Deadlock for like 6 months to a year. You know what I mean? Like that's what it feels like. It feels like the player base is already matured in this game. It almost feels like going to play a fighting game that has been out for a couple years. Like yeah, people are playing it, but not people that are at your skill level.
Hmm. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna become of this game. I
Me
mean,
either.
it's Valve, so it's not gonna just die. But at the same time, I just don't see how it's supposed to catch. I don't think that Valve is putting a lot of work into marketing this game. You know?
None. And like honestly, that's maybe the weirdest thing about this to me is like there's a lot of content in this game already. There's like 30 something characters. There's the whole map. They keep making a bunch of like balance changes to these characters pretty frequently. Like this game is actively being supported like any other MOBA, but they just are not letting it be out to everyone who wants to. And I don't
Okay, so
understand why.
who do you think is the poster child of Deadlock in terms of a character, and would I be able to recognize them?
Um God, I don't know that there's that much of a story.
I don't care if there's a story or not. Tell me who the poster child, who's the mascot of this game.
I'm
Is
gonna
there a
say the
character named
mascot.
Deadlock?
No, I'm gonna say that
Okay.
the mascot is probably. I think they like try to train you with Mina, so Mina's probably the poster child.
And would I recognize who Mina is if you showed me a picture?
Probably not.
Okay, so here's our problem. This is how I'm seeing it. So
Mm-hmm.
many games, especially games of this nature, like uh, MOBAs or fighting games or gotcha games, they rely so heavily on character design to like have appeal. And my understanding is Deadlock has a lot of interesting and diverse characters, but I don't think that they've done anything like, I hate to say it, but Marvel Rivals is kind of a gooner game. All right, let's be clear here. Their character designs are familiar, but they are definitely made to be excessively appealing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that there's anything like that going on in Deadlock?
Um, Nobody is wearing a swimsuit, so maybe they just don't have that sex appeal yet.
Yet, you say.
I mean, someone's going to
Okay,
eventually, right?
let me follow this up. Who is the sexiest Deadlock character? I
Okay, I
think that
got
speaks
weird
volumes.
taste,
I
so
think that I think that speaks volumes that there's so long of a pause. Though maybe it's speaking more to you than the question I'm trying to get answered here. Um, okay, so I hate to say it, but I think Deadlock just kind of lacks a sex appeal.
I see what you're
I
saying.
I think that in the broad spectrum of what's available out there, people look at Deadlock and like, oh, that's interesting, and they have no commitment to it.
Mm, I see what you're saying. I
Yeah. I'm
I
saying it's
do
a
think
game
that there are
for
some.
people who are of middle age with dying sex drives.
I do think that like in some ways it's refreshing to see the way that some of these characters are designed aesthetically because
Okay.
like they're not just doing the
Yes.
standard here's a
I'm not
sexy lady with a sword, but
I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
yeah.
However, I do know what is successful.
Yeah. And I do agree with you there. Like I do think that there's some very fun characters and some wildly derivative characters. Like holy shit, I would show you a picture of Abrams and you would be like, "Is that just blue Hellboy?"
Blue Hellboy.
That's exactly who he is. He's just blue Hellboy. He's got the fucking trench coat. He looks like a devil man with horns. Like he is Hellboy. He's just kind of blue.
Okay, I'm gonna give you some numbers here, okay?
Mhm.
I think this is gonna tell you a lot about the cultural zeitgeist of Deadlock.
Oh.
Um, so you go to a website called rule34.com.
I don't want. This is not what I was hoping for.
I'm just giving you some numbers here. I'm just going with
Okay,
statistics. Okay.
sure.
You type in Deadlock.
Well,
The
you're gonna get a
number
bunch of
is
the like Deadlock, that character in fucking like DC or whatever named Deadlock, right?
no. There is differentiation here
Okay, all right.
where it's like they do a parenthetical saying, "Oh, Deadlock parenthetical Valorant," because I guess there's a character in Valorant named Deadlock, which is confusing
Yeah,
to me.
sure.
But the tag that is just Deadlock, as in the game Deadlock, 2,634. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You go to, let's
You
say,
go to
League of
Deadlock, the
Legends.
Valorant character,
And there's
17
more.
million.
I don't know who that character is. But League of
Me either.
Legends, just let's say the main competitor in terms of MOBAs.
Okay, League of Legends has had like 15 years of this though.
Okay, well, what would you say is more? You want to put Heroes of New Earth? See how much is going on with that?
That one's gonna have nothing, but I don't know, like, um, trying to think if there's any other like recent-ish game to use, but like do Rule 34 on that new marathon game.
Marathon. Bungie 90. There's 90.
Nice.
There's
So
only 90.
Deadlock's doing better.
Sure. Let's type in Marvel Rivals, specifically Rivals. Um,
Oh, it's gonna be like 17 billion.
It's 48,681.
Yeah, pretty big difference.
Exponential on top of Deadlock's numbers. And does that breed any sort of excuse the pun? Does that breed any
Oh, come
sort
on.
of any sort of loyalty? The answer is yes, it does. Just out
Hmm,
of
hmm.
habit. So yeah, I'm not saying that I want Deadlock to become a sexy game, but I think that just from a standpoint of a game being marketable, it would benefit from it. And it doesn't have to be the game itself. It could be the community. But I think
All
that the
right.
community is people who aren't interested in that to begin with, so there's no sort of like synergy there, right?
Just just because we're already going down this rabbit hole.
Uh-oh.
The Goonerist character in Deadlock is
Okay.
Celeste.
The
How many if you
Celeste
do that?
Deadlock. I'm gonna look at that. Celeste Deadlock image. She's the Goonerist?
I would say so.
Okay, let's see. I just did an image search. I'm gonna now do the Rule 34 one.
She's like a magical girl basically, but she's got tattoos.
Okay, so she has 111 images tagged with that character, which
Okay.
is not that many,
That's not that many.
which I think says a lot about how people look at Deadlock, right?
Mhm.
I mean, she's got an interesting design. Very Zatara coded. I like her
Mhm.
horn.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
she's got her little like magical unicorn horn thing.
I could see her as a League of Legends character, which is why she's probably the Gooner character.
Even
Anyway,
that, like she's not particularly. It's just like out of all of them, I think that's probably the one I could point to and say the most in that vein. Um,
well, the
yeah,
only thing about Deadlock that's truly dead and locked is its libido. So if
same.
you have if you have no interest in that sort of thing, then boy do I have a MOBA for you. For
Oh
all of
gosh.
the ace community, all the asexual people love Deadlock.
um, I have been playing a couple other games though, mostly smaller ones, kind of a little bit more for me, so to speak.
For you,
Yeah.
just like we're just
Uh,
gonna play a little game for me once in a while.
yeah. So one of them was this game called Caravan Sandwich, as in like a witch of the sands, not the kind you eat.
Okay.
Um, which I picked up because I saw the trailer for it and was kind of like, oh, this looks like it has kind of the vibes of Sable, if you remember me talking about that game a while back.
Yeah, yeah, I remember Sable.
And it turned out it did have some of those vibes with the kind of like exploring a world and just driving around and doing little tasks, but it's a bit more focused. This game is about you returning to your home planet uh, in this sci-fi world and looking for your sister who went missing like years ago. But you got a like message from being like, "Hey, help! An SOS." So you return to the planet. You reconnect with the like small town. They give you a bunch of little side quests, and someone gives you a truck, and you can just drive around in this area and collect a bunch of little things, find out about the various things of this world, like the frog people and the giant storm cloud on the planet that drove the corporation away, so that they're no longer like strip mining the planet.
Hmm.
Um,
So it's kind of like
and
a mystery exploration game.
yeah, yeah, and it really does like divide itself up into chapters in a way I wasn't expecting. You kind of do a bunch of little quests, get some stuff, and then get your next upgrade, like the scanning thing for your truck or the like rope grabbing thing so you can pull open certain types of doors and find little other areas to explore. Um it's a fun little game. I did have a good time with it. It's got some interesting writing, and I unfortunately just think that way that they really did try to make it more of a story game than Sable really tried to be, for me detracted just a little bit because it didn't really deliver on making me care about, like, I found the world interesting, but I didn't really care that much about like the finding my sister thing, and that's kind of the crux of the ending. Uh
Oh,
and so I don't like feel like there's much reason to go back or anything like that. I don't feel like there was the sense of like the way that Sable kind of gave me a sense of I'm done with this game, let me go do the ending and feel like I've completed something. This game, like, yeah, I finished it, but it didn't give me that sense that I was kind of hoping for of like, I've explored this space. I feel like I have a interesting understanding of this world and my part in it. This was more of like, I don't know, I feel more like a tourist, so to speak, despite the story being you're returning to your hometown and stuff.
right.
Uh
It's there's a certain level of ludonarrative dissonance when you have games where they give you like this main reason why you're there, and then the fun of it is ignoring that and exploring,
yeah,
right?
pretty much.
Yeah, it was the same with Breath of the Wild, where it's like they set it up like the princess is right there, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go just find all the shrines. And it's just like
Mhm.
that. There's a dissonance there because it's like you know what you're here for, and you know what you're supposed to do, but also I want to mix these things together, see if it makes a fun recipe.
Or if I just get the like question mark food item.
Yeah, it's just fun. That's where the fun is, and unfortunately, sometimes responsibility ain't fun.
Yeah.
And you know, if you take the critical path, and the meat of the game is unfortunately literally everything surrounding that. So yeah, I can see how that could be problematic. But I mean, I appreciate that they want to have a narrative. It's just
Mhm.
it's one of those things where it's like, how do you set this up to be more emergent, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I guess you could be a crash landed random person on this planet, right? And then you can kind of just find out as you go. But then you don't really have a definitive story beat at the end, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't want to say like this was a bad game or anything. It wasn't. I
No,
had a
no,
very
no.
good time with it. It was a really good what do they call them? Like cozy games? That's what people are calling them these days.
Hmm. Would you say it's a
Like
cozy game?
I think this probably counts as a cozy game. There's no combat, there's no uh
Can I
like
ask you a
you are
question?
running around and exploring. You're not in
Can I ask
danger ever.
can I ask you a question?
Mhm.
Is Outer Wilds a comfy game?
I don't think so. I think there's too many horror elements for people.
Horror. Okay, yes. I mean, anglerfish specifically. Sure.
Yeah, and just, the sun exploding every 22 minutes.
I mean, I feel like you kind of get over that after like the third time, because like
Sure, sure.
you're gonna survive
Yes,
until you
yes.
don't. But you know, it's kind of
I would not call that a comfy game. I call that more of like a puzzle exploration game or
okay.
like a puzzle box. Um, no, this game I think of more of a comfy game. I know a lot of people describe or use comfy game for games like Stardew Valley or like some of those farming sims that people really love. I expect Tomodachi Life is considered a comfy game for a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah.
Um I would think of this game more like a short hike, but it is trying to do much more than that. But as far as like why I might consider it a quote unquote comfy game is because of the same reasons I would call a short hike a comfy game. Like you're just kind of running around, there's some little things to do.
The sell that you gave me on the game, the sandwich game,
Mhm.
is that there's a storm, there was a corporation strip mining, and your sister needs help. Like that doesn't strike me as a cozy game, just
Totally.
based on that
And
description.
that's the thing, like that stuff, like the corporation and all that is like the background of this world that you're kind of discovering as you go to like these ruins that they've abandoned and stuff like that and collecting components. And the sister SOS call is just sort of the impetus to get this going, but
Okay.
you borderline don't interact with it other than it, like, every time you hit a kind of chapter, so to speak, it goes, "It's been this many days since you got that SOS." And it's like, "Okay."
This kind of rudely reminds you of why you're actually
Well,
there.
but, like, it's not, like, tracking the days, it's just, "Oh, you hit the checkpoint, now it's been 12 days narratively."
Sure, but like if you're not actually making any sort of discrete progress towards addressing that, being told that regardless of the amount of time that's actually passed by is kind of like, oh, thanks.
Yeah, it's got this just, like, weird, conflict between how you are playing the game and what it is
You know.
narratively doing that just unfortunately does detract a bit from it for me.
Well, let me give you something that I feel very similarly about.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, I decided to finally sit down and play a demo of a little game called The Eternal Life of Goldman. And I don't know if you can remember what this game looks like just based on me saying that, but
Not at
it's
all, but I'll take a peek real quick, find an image.
The Eternal Life of Goldman is a kind of Metroidvania. It seems like it's been inspired by the DuckTales game, where you play as an older gentleman with a cane, and most of the mechanics involve finding different parts for your cane and customizing it on the fly. The gameplay is good. The art is amazing. The story is I don't know. Like it's one of at first I thought, okay, here's this guy who's coming to this archipelago to try and solve this problem that is not neatly described at the beginning of this game. I think that they're keeping it kind of mysterious on purpose, and that's fine. But then, like halfway through the demo, you get interrupted, and there's kind of like this meta narrative happening where what's going on in the game is a story being told by what I'm assuming is a mother to her son, and it's very Princess Bridey, but the two characters describing what's going on in the story are not likable, which
Huh.
sucks. Like
I am
especially the
seeing so
kid.
much more, like, action platformer from this than I was expecting out of it.
Yes, there is a lot more action platforming. Um, the animation is extremely good. The animations are weirdly violent for the tone of the game otherwise.
Hmm.
And I don't know if that's indicative of something that I'm not aware of because I'm only playing a demo or what. But what I will say is that in terms of the basis of the story, it's drawing a lot from Jewish mysticism. So, uh, I mean, you have the name Eternal Life of Goldman. It's highly implicative that there's going to be a lot of like Jewish myth in here, but
Sure.
golems are like a very central part to the chunk of gameplay that I played through. And if you're not familiar, you probably haven't read up on golems that much, but they're part of Jewish mysticism. Um, I don't know how much this leans into that, but it's very interesting seeing this as the basis of a game. It's not something that you normally see, and I think that depending on like how much it's leaned into, it could really be kind of a hallmark thing in the same way that like Hades was a revival of like Greek mythology, right? Like a lot of people got interested in Greek mythology again because of Hades. And Jewish mysticism, there's not a lot of like public consciousness of that stuff. And as someone who's interested in like just mythology in general, um, I think that it would be really interesting to see that. Uh, but also the characters who are doing the narration kind of suck.
Damn. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, the demo's gotten a lot of like positive response, but generally the sentiment is why is this character that is interrupting the gameplay so annoying? So, game's not out yet. I don't know if they're planning on doing anything to change that. Uh, but it definitely looks like they put a lot of work into it. I don't know if it's something that I'm gonna want to sit down and play through. Like, I think that so there's different sections where like there's certain areas that are more like Metroidvania areas. There's certain areas that are more like straightforward action platforming, like you said. And there's also kind of like hub areas where you do mostly character interaction and a little bit of exploration. There's been like little hints of like there being some very like game encompassing puzzles that you have to like come back around on that seem interesting. But I don't, if you're looking for anything in particular, I feel like it's kind of a hard sell. Because if you're looking for action platforming, then you're going to get annoyed by the other stuff. If you're looking for Metroidvania, you're going to get annoyed by the other stuff. And if
Hmm.
you're if you're looking for that other thing I said, you're probably not going to like it because of the other stuff. And it's about the unification of these different parts of the gameplay that I think are going to like really be the thing that makes or break it.
I
So,
see. I see.
um but as a demo I enjoyed it. Good music, great animation, interesting use of a little used culture when it comes to game narrative. Um, yeah, and then the other thing that I played is a game that you got me called Blueprints,
Yeah, the one you
and
promised to play. I also played the game I promised. I'm
yes,
interested
at
to
the
hear what you think about Blueprints, though. This is going to be an interesting one.
well, it was very highly regarded by you last year. It was a bit of surprise to me how highly regarded it was.
Mhm. Mhm.
So when you gifted it to me, I was like, okay, well, I guess I gotta find the time for it. And after editing the last podcast, I realized that I said that I would talk about it on this one. I was like, oh shit. And so
Oh
I sat
no.
down. I sat down and I played a pretty good chunk of it. Um, to say that I understand what's going on would be a downright lie.
Mhm.
But when you start to grasp kind of just the general gameplay loop, and when you've done a few runs, you start to notice the things that are kind of different, and you're trying to trying to figure out like what is the meaning behind these things that's not being explicitly shared with me. And so yeah, I I've done I think 5 days,
Okay.
and and I've yet to get to the antechamber at the end of the map, but I started to recognize a few things. And I mean, I guess maybe spoilers. I don't know if this is relevant or not, and I'm hoping that you're not going to spoil nothing if I talk
Mhm.
about it.
Mhm.
But I noticed that the main economy in the exploration is that you have a certain amount of steps before the days you're considered too exhausted to continue exploring.
Yeah.
And I have not gotten anywhere close to exhausting that in all the times that I've explored the house. But what I did notice is that you still exhaust it outside of the house, and outside of the house, there are certain areas that are considered to be areas, I guess, because you lose stamina going through those. And it's not that
Yeah.
I haven't explored the grounds more thoroughly, but the grounds don't seem to change, and there's certain things that I think kind of you have to accomplish certain things within the manor and then go out and attend to these things having done that. Um, and then also the things that have changed from room to room. I noticed that there's a lot to do with the sketches that are on the wall. I don't know what the deeper meaning of these things are, but then
Mhm.
there's kind of like a break room, or I forget what it's called, but they have like a little poster board and there's little notes saying this but not this. And it's just like, okay, I guess there's some sort of symbology happening here that I'm still not privy to. And there's
Mhm.
also,
Mhm.
it seems like there's stuff to do with color, at least based on the dartboard puzzle that I solved. Like I thought, like okay, I was like, I solved it, and I was like, great, I can't wait to see the humongous reveal from solving this, and you get some gems. And I'm like, okay, well maybe the reward here was not necessarily what was given to me for solving it, but the knowledge of like what this might mean. So
Interesting.
I've been trying to pay more attention to color to see if that plays out in any meaningful way. Um, so
Okay.
yeah, I
Yeah.
like it's clear that there's stuff going on behind the scenes that requires interpretation that maybe I don't have the full breadth of knowledge I need to actually accomplish anything. But right now, mostly just trying to get to the antechamber, which I think is what you're supposed to be doing, right? That's like the setup of the game is like you're trying to find the secret room. And
Definitely.
right now, right now, I just kind of want to get to the end. As far as making that happen, um, I mean, it's kind of a pick three game, right? Where you literally draft the rooms. So, there's an element of what appears to be luck, which I think people have told me is as a point of frustration. Um, but also the game kind of drops you some interesting hints, like, oh, the West Wing is like this, like, oh, the rooms are more likely to be locked.
Hmm.
So it's like, okay, I guess I'll travel along the east side to try and get deeper. But yeah, so it's a resource management thing. It's a luck thing in some ways. I've found dice before that let me redraft. I've found rooms
Yeah.
that let me redraft. So you can mitigate some of that, but I think that ultimately it's a time will tell kind of deal.
So I got let's say two questions to avoid spoilers here.
Okay.
The first one is, have you reached any rooms that give you any kind of a cutscene?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. Okay.
Well, that's
That makes
one.
some
That's
sense
one
then.
question. That's you said you had two questions.
Yeah, the other one I was going to say, it's just like, I guess this one's less of a question and more of a comment, but still avoiding spoilers. But I'm sure if you've been paying attention to the paintings, you've been paying attention to the dartboard, all this other stuff. I'm sure this means you've been looking at basically everything you can find in all the rooms. And the way that this game is structured, it will definitely, like, as long as you are trying to find new rooms as frequently as you can, especially early on, you will find things that lead you in directions to solve other things that you're having issues with. Uh, One of the things that's great about this game, I think, is the fact that it is so good at leading you towards these things in game, which is great.
Okay.
But
So
yeah,
I should basically just be checking out new rooms.
for sure. Like I'm sure you've seen the Nook more than once, for example.
Yes.
Like, there are things that will always be in that room that point to other things in the house, is what I mean.
Okay.
And that's true of like
But
a lot of rooms. They will have
okay.
things in them that are always the same. And those things usually will have some kind of hint or random information that you can maybe use for other things throughout the house.
Okay, you say throughout the house, but the house is drafted. Are you
Correct.
saying that like it's going to be a hint of like what to try and get to, or I mean, I guess maybe I
Sometimes.
shouldn't be asking this. Maybe I shouldn't be asking this at all.
Yeah, I'm
But
not gonna give you like big hints here. I just wanted to say, like, because you've been looking at stuff, I'm sure at some point you will notice some other things and be like, "Oh, like this thing is talking about this other room to help me solve this thing about this room." Um that's true of like you said, you've been looking at the paintings, you don't know what they mean, you just seen that one thing with the like this not that, which, like, yeah, that is technically a hint, and it will make so much more sense to you eventually.
yeah,
And
yeah.
eventually you will find something that will make you go like, "Oh shit, that's what this means." And then you'll have a whole new puzzle to look forward to because of that.
Right. But the thing is, like, I'm not really feeling like there are puzzles for me to solve. If I'm being honest, like, there's puzzles in the sense of, like, here's the room with the box puzzle, which, like, which one has the gems? And here's the one
Mhm.
with the dart puzzle, which is like, how do the colors correlate to each other in the terms of the math happening here?
Yeah.
And then you do them, and it's like, okay, and then you get to, like, the big telescope room, and you, like, look up, and you get a little thing, and you're like, okay, I guess that's what I get. I don't know if there's
Hmm.
anything that changes that, but by and large, you go into a room and you like look around, it's like, okay, well that was a room, and then you go on. And
Yeah,
again, I'm seeing things for what they are at my level of understanding, but like to say like here's the hints to help you solve the puzzle, like what puzzle? It's like give me a hint, give me a hint to like where the puzzle is first.
yeah,
But I mean,
yeah.
I guess I'm looking for a cutscene of all things. So
So I was
all
mostly
right,
asking about that because there are cutscenes in the game. I was mostly asking if you've reached any of those specific rooms because there are a couple. And they'll only play like one time, but it makes the game it shifts the vibe of what you're doing in ways that is maybe not expected and can be very interesting. I
well, I
hope you
do
put a
hope it
bit
is
more time into it.
interesting. Nah, I'm done. I think I'm done with this
Uh
game. This doesn't make any sense. This is a stupid game,
oh
Neil. No, of course I'll play more.
yeah,
Of
it's
course.
that's also one of those interesting things. You've said you've done like 5 runs, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, a couple of them were super short because I just
Oh
kind of
sure.
screwed up.
Yeah.
But 5 days in.
I the part that's interesting for me on that is because of the randomization of this game, it's so easy to think that everyone's experience, especially early on, are going to be so different. You're talking about not really running out of steps. I feel like I ran out of steps on like my second day.
Oh. Well, I mean, my understanding of like the drafting, I was like, okay, I can use this to double my recovery on bedrooms.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just end up with a ridiculous amount, and I eat a banana, and then I find a
Yep.
sandwich, and it's like, okay, geez, I don't think I'm ever gonna use this many steps.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I just yeah, I'm having a different experience than you. But hey, that's kind of the hallmark of a good game, right? You should have your own unique relationship.
I guess the other question I have for you is have you gotten any like items while running around in game in a run?
Oh yeah, yeah, I found quite a few.
Okay.
Got me a shovel. I got
Okay.
all sorts of weird crap, and I've used the shovel, and I found things in the ground, and I'm like, cool. I don't think that I'm ever gonna need this much money.
Fair.
And
I guess I
I
guess
go into the
that's
church, and then I go. There's like a little church steeple thing, and I look at the
yep,
stained glass, and I'm like, these characters seem important, and so I write down like the farmer is this one,
yep.
and then I'm like, okay, well, this is it seems like the detail here has been embellished enough to make it seem like it's gonna be an important thing, and I have my stupid little notebook, and it makes no sense,
You have an
and
eye for this stuff, and I also had a notebook, and like yeah, you're in it. You're definitely in it.
yeah, I mean, I guess this is the part of the puzzle where you're doing the frame, right?
Hmm.
Like you need to do the edge of the frame to understand where the pieces go. So that's what I'm doing.
Cool, cool. Well, I also played the game that was really high up on our game of the year list that you told me to play, White Knuckle.
Hell yeah. It's all
Um,
about games with colors in the name.
White Knuckle is pretty neat. I did a little stream with it just as my like first impressions, which gave me one really big impression. Play this game mouse and keyboard. Do not try to play
Yes.
it with a controller.
No one plays controller.
That was my biggest takeaway from that, but the game was interesting enough that I definitely put some more time into it just on my own time.
Hmm.
Um, and it's got a very, very good core loop for the gameplay. The left hand, right hand, climbing up these walls, trying to find your pathing around these things. It's it's funny to think about the amount of time I played Peak last year with you, especially, and then look at
Yeah.
this other game that's about like climbing up a thing in
Yeah.
a very different context though.
Yes, yes.
um
Um so what I will say about White Knuckle in terms of the gameplay loop is that I think that there's a lot of similarity between this and blueprints in the sense that knowledge is the main resource,
Mm,
right? Because like you only have so many different things that you can do mechanically in white knuckle, but it's the application of the knowledge that you have. Because yes, the different areas are randomly generated, but it draws from pools of rooms, right? Kind of like
yeah,
Binding of Isaac,
yeah.
where once you recognize a room, like you can just know what you're supposed to do. And like I've not beaten the game. I've not gone through Act 3. Act 2 is just mean. And I don't think that you've actually gotten to Act 2.
I
Uh
did get to Act 2
you
in
did
my
get to
own
Act
time.
2.
I got to Act 2. I was like, "Oh, cool. It's like a different biome. It says
Okay.
habitation, but now I'm going through like sewer pipes and stuff." And I
So
went
you,
into
so you got
the
past the elevator.
yes.
That shit is so hard when you're first starting out.
It was intense.
There are so many cool tricks you can do in that section. And I'm just going to tell you because if you got through it, you deserve to know.
Mhm.
Um you know the rebar that you
Yeah.
can throw? You can hit the button on the console by throwing rebar at it. You don't even need to do the climbing. If you aim it and you throw it and you hit the button that's supposed to like restart things, then it'll just go.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. So
Huh.
save rebar, and that way you can get multiple chances to just skip that. But
Very
yeah,
interesting.
watch like if you've played the game, if you've done like a handful of runs, just go ahead and watch someone else play it, and you'll start to
Yeah.
understand like what how
I
smooth the movement can be.
I did just on your recommendation take a peek at a speed run, not like of the whole game, but just like a little bit of it, and watching them just seem
Demolish
to like
rooms.
actually be able to jump in midair. like
Yeah, yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's some kind of double jump mechanic. I don't even understand what it is, but I am sure they were not holding on to anything.
So you can jump the frame that you grab something, and it'll take the amount of stamina away from that hand that would take from like jumping from a climbing position. But like you can do that with like a loose piton. Like you can just place a piton, not hammer it in, grab it and jump the same frame to get a higher vertical leap.
That's
The
crazy.
things people do in this game is crazy. But like
Yeah,
it's
watching
it's
someone just like run past the entire second area and not deal with any of the obstacles I immediately died to. Like I got into that
yeah,
second area.
yeah.
I went into a room. I was like, "Oh, weird. It's got like a turbine that's circling." Climbed up this turbine. I got to the top and then this bug just fucking rammed my ass and like threw me back down and just started hunting me and I was like trying to get my hammer out fast enough to hit it and it just everything fell apart so quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, that is the harsh part of White Knuckles. That it doesn't matter how far you are, when you're dead, you're dead.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're back at the first act and you got to find your way. But
Honestly, the thing like the big piece of knowledge for me when I got to that second act, there's a big like middle section of like, "Oh, here's some computers and you can put bugs in these things to get a disc and here's like a perk."
yeah, yeah,
And
there's perks.
uh I never noticed the perk thing in the like halfway part on that first section.
Oh, you just skipped it.
So I got through the entire first area without ever getting a perk.
Mm.
And now I'm like, oh shit, there was like a whole mechanic in this game I didn't know existed until like my last two runs I've done. And it's like, oh, this is crazy.
Yeah, I don't know if they changed it in the latest update, but when you deposit bugs, like they carry over into your next game. So like if you don't
Mm,
spend them, you can like it kind of like Isaac where you can use the bank.
yeah,
You can just bank up on bugs, and then when you're doing a serious run, you can spend all your money.
yeah. Seems like a really
But
neat
yeah,
game though. I'm definitely gonna spend some more time working my way in that game. I haven't had time this week and I'm not gonna have time next week, but I do plan to play some more of that game on my own time as one of my like, ooh, I have some time. Let's mess around in that. Let's do a few runs.
the movement is so good. I
It
just
it does feel very good.
Just good.
once you get
It's
used
just
to it.
good.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's hit some news real quick because we're approaching an hour already.
We are. Time is flying because we had games to talk about.
Um, Here's a headline. Reggie Fils-Aimé says Amazon once asked Nintendo to break the law. So,
What?
Reggie, Reggie, former CEO of Nintendo of America, went out on and explained that he he one time received a call from Amazon. They had gone through all of the marketing people at Nintendo and had pushed their way to the top to speak with him himself. And what they had asked him for was illegal. Like like they wanted an obscene amount of support, quote unquote, financial support to try and hedge out other marketplaces for the product. Like they just were asking him to like make this happen and he was like no, and that's when Nintendo stopped providing like first party support to Amazon. If you remember that happening, um, like everything that Amazon was selling, like this was like around the Wii, I think. But yeah, they just called him and he went on record saying, "Yeah, they asked me to do something illegal." And he told them, like when they made the phone call, when he was talking to whoever he was talking from Amazon, he was like, "You know this is illegal, right?" And Amazon's like, "Well, we want it to happen." And he was like, "No." And
That's
now you're and now
that's
Target is going to get most of our support.
that's fucking crazy.
Okay, first of all, big ups to Reggie. I miss that era of Nintendo for a lot of reasons, but like I've not been super happy with Nintendo lately. I mean, I think that they're finally realizing that they're not the hot shit that they thought they were going into the Switch 2 era, and they're making their concessions as they do. But boy, hearing not only the American CEO, former American CEO, admit to this being a thing, but demonstrating that he had the integrity to be like, no, we're not doing that. Like that's great. You love to see it. I think Reggie was a really great guy. Um, I think Amazon's a horror show of corporation.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, corporate America is a terrible thing. And to continue on that conversation, Sony had to clarify about a new DRM that they've enacted quietly on their digital services, where people noticed if they went into like the details of recent purchases on the storefront, they would see like time to confirm license online, like 30 days. And people were like, "Oh, great! Now I need to be online every 30 days to prove that I'm actually hold the license to play this game, which I don't actually own. I just have a license for because I paid for it on their storefront." And then Sony had to come out and say that this is a one-time check. I don't know that they necessarily wanted it to be a one-time check, but I think that because of the fallout and the amount of attention it got, they kind of had to pivot. And people pointed out that like this is the kind of thing that they were making fun of Xbox for, like in the last generation of consoles. Um, and yeah, it's that sucks. But what sucks even more is that um, the Sony PlayStation, they've been in the middle of this lawsuit uh, over monopolizing the market by making people pay like higher prices on their storefront for games that exist at lower prices elsewhere. You adopted this console and then your reward is, hey, now you pay more for the games because we want an additional cut or whatever reason the prices were being driven up on the PlayStation store. And then so people sued. It was a class action lawsuit, and the good news is that the people won. So Sony's eligible for like I think a 7.8 million refund to the users who were affected, which is chump change for Sony. 7.8 million is like nothing
Yeah,
to
it's gonna be
Sony.
like $3 voucher or something to most of the people too.
Well, here's the thing. Not everybody is going to be eligible to receive that money in cash. They're actually going to literally credit to your PlayStation account. which is like, okay, great. I thank you for the $3 on the PlayStation Store, which literally was just caught overcharging for things. Can't wait to see what I can buy for $3. And
Yeah,
so
that
people will
sucks.
inevitably have to pay more money to Sony to capitalize on the $3 that's locked into their account anyway, right? It's the
That
classic trick of
sucks.
like, here's a coupon for $1 off this thing for like $80. It's like, oh, thank you so much. Like they turned a lawsuit into a marketing scheme. So yeah, not happy with Sony. Not I'm slightly happier with Nintendo, at least that era of Nintendo. Literally nothing on Xbox right now.
Ugh.
But as far as the trifecta goes, that's kind of where we're standing. Sony sucks. Nintendo's not great. Nobody knows what's going on with Xbox.
I mean,
Little
Microsoft
piece.
also just sucks in general, so
Right, right. I mean, that's been the case for a while.
yeah,
Uh,
to put
but
it
what I will
lightly.
say to come around on the talking about Valve and Steam and Deadlock thing,
Mm-hmm.
what I will say is that they released the first version of Proton for ARM processors, which you can actually go into Steam right now. And if you go to tools, I think, you'll see it as Proton 11 in parentheticals ARM 64. And I think I might have talked about it a little bit before, but ARM 64 processors are the same processors that are very power efficient and used in things like your phone, which is to say, we are at the very entrance gates. We're at the very beginning of Steam creating a translation layer for all of these smaller devices. This includes the device that I have, the AYN Thor, or IN Thor, depending on who you are. And if they can get Proton working on that, then I'll be able to install SteamOS on it, and then I'll be able to play everything very cleanly on my little device, and that'll be nice.
Dang. Yeah, that sounds fucking cool. Like I, I think I didn't can't remember where I saw or heard this. It might have been on a remap podcast where they were talking about Microsoft saying something about like trying to get my get Windows back to running things as well as Proton is running things, which is a fucking crazy thing to say. Cause
Yeah. Oh,
like,
the translation layer for Windows is running things better than Windows itself.
yeah, like
That's
that's just fucking
fucked.
crazy. But apparently it is. Um,
Well, I mean, I guess the thing that I have to say about it is that, like, yes, it's really cool that this is going to be something that's happening, and yes, it is going to change the entire environment for this type of media because so many people are going to be able to access things that you're paying $2,000 for your fucking new smartphone, right? And it has a Snapdragon processor, which is ARM 64,
mhm.
uh, that can't run things that Windows runs because it's a completely different architecture. But soon that might not be a problem. Like that's all cool, but the takeaway here is that Valve really just cares about making things accessible.
Yeah.
Like yes, they stand to benefit from this, but there's a lot of other people that stood to benefit from it that didn't do it. So Valve is a privately traded company. Like it's a private company. Publicly traded companies kind of suck just because they're always chasing some fucking profit growth, whereas Valve can quietly make Deadlock and support Deadlock, even though it's not particularly successful, while also funding projects like Proton 11 for ARM 64.
Yeah.
Like it's such a good company, and I can't believe the shit
I
that
mean,
they've been
I'm
like.
not gonna say that like Valve has done everything right, but they are at least doing a
No,
lot of things in a way that is at least feels consumer friendly, unlike most things that just get worse and worse.
I think that Gabe is genuinely a good guy. I'm gonna say that much. I think that he has his own indulgences. He's still a human being, but I think that generally speaking, when he looks at what the company is, it's about games. It's not about profit.
Hmm.
So There you go. I mean, it's easy to say that because it's so profitable, right?
Yeah,
But I think
yeah.
that they're not trying to like be gluttonous in excess of like what profit is. I mean, like you look at the prices for games on Steam, it's like, oh, well, they could charge more, but they don't. So yeah, trying to end on some good news, trying to end on a positive note.
Okay.
So
Well, since we're trying to end on a positive note, I will save something for next time.
wow,
Now, this
I
is
thought you didn't have any
honestly,
news.
it's old news, so like, who cares when I get around to it? And I was putting it off because I kept trying to find time to visit this game, but we'll talk about it in the future. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Hi, everybody.
Well,
And by hi,
now
I
I'm
mean
all
goodbye.
it's so ominous now.
It's not ominous. It
It is
compared to
ominous
the
because it's
okay,
haunting
compared to the
me.
bad news we normally have, this one's just like, oh, that sucks.
Well, now I almost like just rip off the band-aid, but
All right, all
does
right, all right.
it does ruin my positivity, but I think
It's
the
fine.
positivity is already worn off because now I'm in
So,
fear of this news.
so in like December, and I had missed this because early access. Hyperlight Breakers put out a post that said, "Hey, this game is unfortunately getting canceled."
Yes.
Um, I really liked what I played of that game. I've been meaning to go back to it because I haven't touched it in a little over a year, basically. Because
Yes.
they put it out, it was very bare bones when they put it out, and they did a bunch of work to it for like the year.
Yes.
And when Elden Ring Night Rain came out, I was kind of shocked because I said, "Oh shit, this is so much of what like Hyper Light Breakers is also doing. Like a lot of this feels pretty similar in like structure and such, in a cool way."
Okay.
But the main thing about what happened to this game is it got canceled because the publisher basically got shuttered, and the publisher, I believe it was Arc Games, formerly Perfect World, is one
Ugh.
of those uh, many, many, many companies that got embraced by the Embracer Group. And
Mm.
so on the tail end of last year, Embracer Group shuttered up or defunded or something a bunch of these various subsidiaries, one of them being Arc Games, and so Arc Games could no longer support Heart Machine with the Hyper Light Breaker game that they were developing with that support. Um, Really is too bad. I think that game was seeming really cool. I was enjoying it a lot. I still have it. I keep meaning to go back to it and like really check it out. I booted it up and saw there was like an actual tutorial now. But that's all I had time to do in the little bit that I booted up, and
So you
I'm gonna
still have
still try to
access to it.
play some of it. So, hmm?
So you still have access to it, but it's
Yes,
just not going to be developed anymore.
yeah. I don't know that it's still being sold either. I have a feeling it's probably not something being sold anymore, but I still have access to it, so that's cool.
Yeah, let me look. Hyperlight Breaker, $30.
Oh,
Very negative.
yeah, it's all negative because everyone said, "Oh, this is getting canceled," and then they negatively posted about it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, it's kind of like the beacon that people have to put out now, saying like, "Hey, maybe don't buy this because this happened."
yeah, I mean, it's it is a little weird that it's still up for sale. I thought they had taken it down for sale as well, but like, I guess it's technically
Yeah.
functional. You can play it with your friends. It's just not ever going to be a completed game.
So it says early access, but in the early access notes it says we want to share an update with the community. Hyperlight Breaker will no longer be receiving further development for the time being. For the time being is an interesting take.
I mean, maybe they're
Um,
still shopping it around. This was something they posted in December, I believe.
right, but then the question is how much of this belongs to art games, right? Because it's still
Yeah, who
some of the
knows?
development occurred underneath that blanket. Okay, so let me go ahead and put a spin on this to
Sure.
make it positive again. Um, so this sucks what happened to Hyperlight Breaker and what happened to Heart Machine. Um, Inversely, the ruling on the Subnautica 2 thing makes me feel better, and I can probably play Subnautica 2 now without feeling like shit.
Oh
was the
yeah,
ruling.
I think we talked about that last time, right?
We did, but I
Yeah,
wanted to like highlight that, like, hey, the due process worked out this time, and so I can actually play this game feeling okay about buying it,
yeah.
as opposed to this situation where ain't no way I'm gonna put money on this. I mean,
Yeah,
I hope
like
they
I
find
would definitely not
another
tell anyone to buy
publisher.
it, but like I already have it, and I know at least two friends that picked it up to check it out with me, so I just need to bug them so we can get in there and be like, let's see where this ended up after a year.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's probably let's see.
That's probably a
Fanime's
podcast.
Fanime's happening starting on the 22nd. So that's probably the only podcast for this month.
We might be able to squeeze one in. We'll see. Like
We'll
I
see. Maybe at the end, the end of the month.
maybe.
But I don't know if I'll have played many games. It's the problem.
We
I'll
got
try and play
time.
more Blueprints. I'll play more
Yeah, there you go.
Blueprints.
I look
All
forward to
right.
seeing I look forward to finding out if you hit a point in Blueprints where you say, "Oh, actually, like I don't want to play more of this," or you hit a point where you're like, "Oh shit, actually this is crazy cool and I want to play so much more of it."
I mean, again, the reason that I was not interested in playing it to begin with, because like I had heard a lot of things about it, but like
Yeah.
it seemed like you had kind of lost interest when you were
Yeah, like
talking about it the last time.
I'm really happy with what I did in that game. There was more I'd like to do. But I eventually hit a point, and this is beyond the like reaching room 46. But I did hit a point where it was like the things I know that I want to try to do are things that the RNG is too much of an issue for me to get around. And the ways to
Hmm.
fix that also require me to get some RNG to get me to a point to fix it. Uh,
Hmm.
which like there's some crazy things that I know you can do in that game to break the way that various parts of its economy work. I'm not going to tell you how or when or what, but there is some RNG even in that part of it. So it's like there's there's a very interesting thing that that game is doing, but I do think
I
getting at
mean,
least to room 46 is very well worth
break
it.
breaking the economy means so little to me when I have no understanding of what the economy is useful for. Okay, so like
Yeah,
you're just saying things, and I'm
yeah,
just like, okay.
so fair.
Anyway,
Anyway,
roll the pre-recorded exit.
bye everybody. Audio Games is hosted and produced by Matthew Lane and Neil Jimenez. Our theme music is Recharging by Gooset. If you'd like to reach out to us, please email us at audiogamespodcast@gmail.com.
Did you ever watch the Mario movie?
No.
Oh,
When that
okay.
comes to streaming, I will, but I'm not going to go to a movie theater for it. Or wait, do you mean the
I
first one?
no, I know you watched the first one. I think we
Okay,
talked about
okay.
it.
Yeah, I was like, I was like, wait a minute, I did see the first one, just not the new one with Star Fox in it.
Oh my god. The fact that that's a sentence you can say. Apparently apparently people are saying that there is in fact another Star Fox game in development, which tracks.
Like,
I mean,
what is Nintendo like? Okay, this is maybe
there's only
podcast should have been podcast shit, but like
whatever.
Nintendo has to have a fucking direct coming out soon or something because like I don't know what they have coming out this year at all.
I don't think they know. I think that what ended up happening was like, I mean, I've said this before, but they pushed the Switch 2 out when it was not ready. That's why Donkey Kong Bonanza was a month late after the release. Like that
Sure.
probably was intended to be a release game, but with all the leaks and stuff and people getting really upset that like nothing has been happening, and then the looming of the tariffs, they just had to push out the Switch 2. And then it was only like a few months back that are like, hey, we're actually going to start developing exclusively Switch 2 games now. And it's like, really? And then this is on top of them not giving out dev kits for the Switch 2 to a
Yeah.
lot of people, and
Well,
it's just
that's
like,
the third
okay.
party stuff though. Like I feel like Nintendo must have like you said, there's apparently a Star Fox coming out. That's probably for this year, assuming it's true or real. Uh,
They, you want to hear my hot take?
sure.
We're gonna see something for Smash Bros. Before the end of the year. They need it.
Really? You think so? Not
They
just
need
a,
it.
hey, we're bringing Ultimate to the Switch 2 with a upgrade
Well,
pass or
okay.
something?
I talked about how they showed every first party Nintendo property in this Mario movie. They are trying to foment interest in properties by putting out movies, right? They did the Mario Galaxy
Sure.
1 and 2 ahead of the Galaxy movie. And then, people are now interested in Star Fox, and we're finding out that they're developing a Star Fox game. We have a Zelda movie coming out, I think, next year, and they're probably going to have something of a release to go with that.
Sure.
But we're looking at the Nintendo Cinematic Universe, and I don't know if it will necessarily be like a Smash Bros. Game in the sense of like what Smash Bros. Is, or a Smash Bros. Games in the sense of here is the conglomerate properties
Sure.
thing. Like, I don't know if it's going to be a fighting game or something else,
Sure.
but
So, like, not necessarily Smash Brothers, but in the same way that Mario Kart 8 had, like, all of their properties in it, maybe they do another new type of game like that. A
they
new
have to
Mario Party,
because
but this time it's Nintendo Party.
you can't, like, what do you do with after Ultimate? I mean, Ultimate is
Yeah.
literally the word for last, first of all,
Well,
but
the
like
thing for Ultimate for me is like they went and got all the licensing for every character from every game again, and I
yeah,
just cannot
exactly.
imagine them wanting to do that. Like I don't know how you do another game after that.
Okay, so again, here's my hot take. They let Sakurai make his fun Kirby game. Even though it was a racing game on a console that has 4 games and one is a racing game, they
Sure,
let him make the racing game, and now they're like, okay, dude, you either gotta do something that's gonna save us with Smash, or you gotta make a really good Kid Icarus game because that's one of the properties that they just don't touch that much.
sure.
So it's gonna be one or the other. They gotta have Sakurai on task with something.
I've made
Anyway,
Star Fox 3 Kid Icarus.
yeah, can't wait for the Kid Icarus movie. People are gonna be scratching their heads about that one.